Powered by Riverside.
Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of the Dak Cohen Podcast. I'm your host, Dak Cohen, and today we got a couple things going down in the sports world. First, we're going to start off first with the Lakers. We talked about a few episodes ago of how the Lakers did not have a head coach, and their vacancy head coach was starting to go long, and Darvin Ham took the assistant coaching job for the Milwaukee Bucks on Doc Rivers' coaching staff. It has been confirmed now about 2 hours ago, about an hour ago now, that the Lakers have found their head coach. We mentioned his name before on the podcast, so hopefully you guys remember, but if you don't, I will refresh your brains. Here we go. Los Angeles Lakers have agreed to a 4-year contract with former player J.J. Redick. Redick, an ESPN NBA analyst who played 15 seasons in the league, met with Lakers Vice President and General Manager Rob Pelinka and owner Jeanie Buss over the weekend, and conversations on the vacancy continued through the week, sources say. Pelinka offered Redick the job this morning, sources have been told. Pelinka became sold on Redick's ability to connect with players, and his basketball IQ and believes surrounding Redick with an elite coaching staff will help shorten his learning curve into his first coaching job. Redick moved into the forefront of the search a week ago after Lakers' pursuit of Connecticut coach Dan Hurley was ultimately rebuffed. The Lakers offered Hurley a 6-year, $70 million contract that he turned down early last week. As Pelinka saw it with Hurley, he still wants a teaching coach and staff who will prioritize the development of young players such as Max Christie, Austin Rivers, and Rui Hachimura, and can design a creative approach to feature Anthony Davis on both ends of the floor. Redick has a strong relationship with LeBron James, with whom he co-hosts a basketball podcast. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, it has been confirmed that J.J. Redick will be the next head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. The search is over. J.J. Redick is now the new coach for the Los Angeles Lakers. So we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping that he doesn't get fired halfway into the season or whatever. We're just hoping. We're hoping that he can stay longer than Darvin Ham stayed as head coach of the Lakers. There has not been a longer coach to stay with the Lakers since the retirement of Phil Jackson. Here's what ESPN says a little bit about this. J.J. Redick has never coached at the NBA level as a head coach or as an assistant. Other notable former players who achieved the feat include Redick's former head coach Doc Rivers, who is only such coach to win a title with the Celtics. The other ones that they mention are Larry Bird with the Pacers, Mark Jackson with the Warriors, Jason Kidd with the Nets, and now J.J. Redick with the Los Angeles Lakers. Congrats to J.J. Redick, and we are hoping the best for him. Going to another On some other basketball news, there has been a trade that has been confirmed. It has been confirmed that the Chicago Bulls are trading for Josh Giddey from the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't know what to think about this trade. Here's what the trade is. The Bulls trade Alex Caruso to the Thunder, and the Bulls will get back in return Josh Giddey. I don't know what we're thinking here, but it's an interesting trade. It's a trade that's been developing for it's a trade that's just gone down as of a few seconds ago. I think the Bulls got the Bulls are active on the trade market. That is true. So that's the Bulls' first trade. I wonder what else the Bulls can trade. I wouldn't be surprised if they send Zach LaVine away. I'm surprised though. Caruso is entering the final year of his deal and becoming eligible for a 4-year, approximately $80 million extension, exactly 6 months from the date to this trade. The Thunder made the trade with the hope to have Caruso as an intentional player for long term. Well, he's getting up there, and he ain't the bald mamba anymore as we used to know him. Only time will tell if Personally, I think the Bulls win this trade. To get Josh Giddey like that, and he's still a young, developing young player like that, tells you something. But only time will tell who will be moved on next, because the Chicago Bulls... Shit. Chicago Bulls currently have... Their team consists of... I wouldn't be surprised if the Chicago Bulls traded... I wouldn't be surprised if they traded away probably... Okay, Alex Caruso is gone. We know that. I wouldn't be surprised if they traded DeMar to a different, to a different team. Zach LaVine's more likely to get moved. Probably to Utah, maybe, but only time will tell. The Bulls are currently active, though, as the first team on the trade market. This is currently the first team that is active on the trade market after the NBA regular season postseason ended. So now this is what the Thunder are consisted of. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, Isaiah Joe, Carson Wallace, Aaron Wiggins, Jalen Williams, and the more on the roster. We'll see what happens. Only time will tell. We're gonna switch our focus over to... Oh yes. We're switching our focus. Now they talk about it. Let's talk about this here. New thing. Okay, now we're on the new thing here. It has been confirmed that as of yesterday, Monty Williams has been dismissed as the head coach of the Detroit Pistons after their awful season. The Detroit Pistons on Wednesday fired coach Monty Williams after one season, absorbing the $65 million on his contract. New Pistons president of basketball operations, Tarjan London, who was hired a month ago, has been been meeting regularly with Williams about the franchise's future, but the decision to dismiss Williams was direct from the ownership level from Tom Gores, sources tell. London delivered the news to Williams on Wednesday morning, sources told. Gores and Pistons vice chairman Arne Turman have been advocates of dismissing Williams. With the draft and free agency looming, it's an important time for London to conduct a coach search. The Pistons recently agreed on terms to hire New Orleans Pelicans assistant Fred Vincent as a permanent assistant coach, sources say. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, basically what you're hearing is, what I'm telling you now is Monty Williams got fired as head coach. Detroit lured Williams with a historic 6-year, $78 million contract after he was fired by the Phoenix Suns and tasked with a Pistons massive rebuild. Williams had planned to sit out the season after his wife was diagnosed with cancer, but became taken with Gore's partnership with massive offer to coach Detroit. Williams has strong relationships with ousted general manager Torrey Weaver. The Pistons tied an NBA record with a 28-game regular season losing streak and finished the season with the league's worst of 14-68. Ooh, that's stupid. The Pistons are 94-290, below 200 over the past 5 seasons, or below 500. Easily the worst in the league. Detroit was the third youngest team in the league. Detroit has the number 5th overall pick in next Wednesday's draft. The Pistons started a coaching search at the 2 teams with openings, the Los Angeles Lakers and Cleveland Cavaliers, move closer to make decisions in their processes. Williams reached the NBA Finals as a coach of the Suns in 2021-22, completing massive turnaround with a 64-18 regular season record. Williams was 194-115 above 500 in 4 seasons with the Suns, and was 173-221 below 500 in 5 seasons with the Pelicans that accumulated with a playoff appearance. So basically what you're hearing is that Monty Williams got fired, and now he's on his way at the door, and now the Pistons, one of the worst teams in the league, might I add, have to find a new head coach. Am I surprised? No. Because of how bad they were. I don't think it was Monty Williams' fault, but only time will tell. Let's see here. Indiana. We're going to shift our focus over to the Pacers now. I think this is a bad extension, in my opinion. Pascal Siakam intends to sign a 4-year, $189.5 million maximum contract extension with the Indiana Pacers, sources told on Wednesday. Pacers president of basketball operations Kevin Pritchard and general manager Chad Buchanan presented the max offer to Siakam and his agent Todd Remisar and I'm not saying their names, a live sorts agency on Tuesday, shortly after the NBA's newly early contract rules allowing for teams to begin negotiating extensions and free agency deals with their own players after the NBA Finals. Siakam, who is 30 years old, plans to sign the deal once the league's free agency moratorium ends on July 6th. So he's not going to even sign that new contract until July 6th, which is next month. Siakam arrived in a blockbuster deal with the Toronto Raptors in January and played an immediate part in the franchise's run to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in a decade. The Pacers pursued Siakam in the final year of his Raptors contract, banking banking that his championship and All-NBA pedigree would make a perfect running mate for All-NBA guard Tyrese Haliburton. The Pacers will now have Haliburton and Siakam under contract through 2028-29 season, so the 2029 season. Respectively, Siakam's deal would rank in Pacers history to 5 years, $245 million max extension, signed by Haliburton last year. Siakam averaged 21.3 points on 55% shooting and only 39% on 3 points in the 41 regular season games upon arriving in Indiana. He became the third player to average 35 points and 10 rebounds in each of his first 2 playoff games, joining Elgin Baylor and Wilt Chamberlain. He scored 367 points in this last year's playoffs. This last playoffs. You get it. The most for a Pacers since Paul George in 2014. Siakam, the 26th overall pick in the 2016 NBA draft, was voted the NBA's most improved player in 2019 when he was an integral part of Toronto's first championship season. The only reason I think I could see this being a good thing for Indiana fans, but if you're looking at it in a different perspective, I think it's bad in general because Pascal Siakam's productive activity is just going to keep going down. He averaged, there's... Here, let me pull him up. The dude's 30, so he's starting to age. I don't think it's a good idea to give him a mass extension like that. His productive games kind of just dried up. If you look at his let me go here. Stats. If you look at last season when he played for Toronto, this season he averaged 21.3. Compared to the last 2 seasons in Toronto, his production's been going down. Kind of. I mean, it doesn't look like it's getting any better. I don't know. It doesn't look like it's getting better because this season he averaged 21.3, and the 2023 NBA season he averaged. Oh, I see. Yeah, in 2023 NBA season he averaged only 22 and 24. His production's been going down ever since. I don't know. Either it's been ramping up or been ramping low. To me, it looks like he finished 29th in points overall. So I think his production's going down. But who knows? Good for the Pacers. Hopefully Pascal can kind of ramp up those points next season. If not, then that's a little bit worrisome. But we'll see. Heading to a new front, we got another thing in the bag here. Raymond Stevenson reaches a 4-year, $36 million deal. This is football now. We're talking about New England Patriots running back Raymond Stevenson said earlier this month that he believed a contract extension with the New England Patriots was pretty close, and he often has done on the field. He has pushed the deal over the goal line. Stevenson reached the agreement with the team on a 4-year extension worth about $36 million, which includes $17 guaranteed. The extension continues an off-season theme for the Patriots under first-year executive vice president of player personnel Elliot Wolf and first-year head coach Gerard Mayo. Wolf said the Patriots want to be known as a draft and develop team. Oh boy. Stevenson joins the Patriots as a 4th-round pick in the 2021 NFL draft out of Oklahoma. He has totaled 2,265 yards on 499 carries, so shy of 500, with only 14 touchdowns, so it's pretty good. He also has been productive as a pass catcher with 121 receptions for 782 yards and 1 touchdown. He entered the final year of his 4-year contract he signed as a rookie, which included a base salary of $3.160 million for the 2024 season. This is what he was quoted saying. I think he's one of the better backs in the league, no doubt about it. This is what Jerod Mayo said. Mayo said at Team Mandatory Camp 2 weeks ago, I'm excited to see what he does this season, and looks like he's earned everything that he gets. This marks the 3rd season that Stevenson is slated to be the Patriots' lead running back, this time under first-year offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt, who plans to feature wide zone runs that Stevenson said he has spent time studying this offseason. As part of the process, Stevenson relayed that he has watched films of Browns running back Nick Chubb as Van Pelt the previous 4 seasons on Cavaliers coaching staff. Seeing him running all throughout defense with it, the linemen are on the right course. Everything looks well put together, he said 2 weeks ago. I hope we can get that done this year. Stevenson, who's only 6 foot and 227, also said he's carrying his way better this offseason, a result of a stricter focus on nutrition. Stevenson, who will be compelled by free agent signings Antonio Gibson on the running back depth chart, told reporters earlier this month it has been a long process negotiating a contract extension. How old is it, Raymond? Patriots continued to tend that re-signing. What? Let me see this. Patriots continue to retrend. 20. Okay, oh, I didn't know this. So, on top of re-signing Ramon Stevenson to a stupid $36 million deal, they also re-extended Kyle Duggar on a 4-year $58 million. Mike Awongu, 3 years $57 million. Hunter Henry on a 3-year $27 million contract. Kendrick Bourne on the 3-year $19.5 million, and Anthony Jennings on the 3-year $12 million contract. Okay. Be my guest. Be my guest, Patriots. Be my guest. The OKC didn't attach any picks to Just Getty to acquire Alex Caruso. Okay. There's a growing trade market for Zach LaVine currently. That could happen. Okay, well, interesting. How old is Ramon Stevenson anyway? Raymond is... How old is he? He's only 26? Oh. I thought he was I thought he was 28 or something like that. Let's see what his stats were from this last season. Okay. He's been kind of the iffy running backs when it comes to rushing. Okay, respect. 26 for... I don't know. I mean, for a young running back like him to get that big of a contract extension, really interesting, but Only time will tell if that comes to bite the Patriots back in the ass. So, we'll see. Okay, well, that's going to be it for today, you guys. Thank you guys for coming out to this edition of the Dak Cohen Podcast. Make sure to follow us on social media at the Dak Cohen Podcast. I am your host, Dak Cohen, and I'll see you guys next time for another edition of the Dak Cohen Podcast. Your host, Dak Cohen, out.